Hi guys, today I'm going to be talking to you about two different case studies, and the first case study is about a 30-year-old woman named Jackie. Jackie is an unmarried, well-educated individual, but she's been having some issues with cognitive functioning lately that caused her to lose her job. She had attempted suicide by pills and cutting her wrists. And survived, but is now working with a therapist to try to deal with some of the issues that she has. So the therapist recommended that she go in for basically a TA assessment, a neuropsychological assessment. And so Jackie went in to better understand what caused her to attempt suicide, and also to understand what was going on with her cognitive functioning. So Jackie had three TA questions that she came up with, which is, why am I so stupid? Why can't I remember directions? The second one was, why am I so self-loathing? She connected that to her suicide attempt, basically like I must have hated myself a lot to do that. And then the third one is, why do I sabotage every relationship? So the assessor issued a full neurological battery tests, including the WASI, the sentence completion series, the MMPI, the PAI, the Rorschach, and the adult attachment projective picture system, among others. And some of the major findings that they were able to come up with were that Jackie's backstory was peppered with a ton of adversity. Her mother had bipolar disorder and had physically and emotionally abused Jackie, and her father had he basically neglected her out of fear of her mother. So some of the major findings were that she had a really high IQ. She was actually really intelligent. She had an IQ of 130, but she was overusing alcohol, had early emotional deprivation, unresolved childhood trauma, depression, brain-based cognitive functional difficulties, and then just a lot of self-hatred. So the therapeutic assessor wrote her therapeutic letter that went over all of these findings, and then they decided to do two separate interventions. And the first intervention was this really cool, the therapeutic assessor and a creative writer together wrote a story with Jackie as the main character, and then they shared that with her as the first intervention. So in the story, Jackie's younger self was going through some of the abuse that she had experienced as a kid, and then her adult self stepped in and kind of reassured and gave affirmations to the younger self, which seemed to help Jackie. The second intervention had to do with her career, and basically she had felt like she was really stuck, and by 30 she should have had it all figured out. And the assessor was really able to help her understand that a lot of people that are her age are in the same boat as she is, and it helped her to be a little bit less self-loathing. So after the assessments and the interventions, Jackie now meets with her therapist 3 times a week to try to deal with some of the trauma. She has held down a job for 3 years. She's applied to grad school, and she's in a happy relationship, and she's no longer clinically depressed. So she's doing a lot better. The connection I made to something that we'd already learned in class was actually back to the Yelp 2020 paper, which went over group TA in a population of veterans with PTSD. And the reason I connected that was because I really thought that Jackie might benefit also with some group TA that went over interpersonal skills, because Jackie did have that insecure attachment due to her childhood trauma and her relationship with her parents, and it's interacting with a lot of interpersonal skills that she's got, so I thought that might be helpful for her. The question I had for the class was, Jackie's assessor and a creative writer together wrote an allegorical story of Jackie's life, where the adult self was going and affirming the younger self. That seemed to really help Jackie and help her find her worth. Do you think that you would use therapeutic storytelling in your own clinical practice? Why or why not? All right.